Okay, I'm now going to hand the meeting over to George, who's going to share about loving and being loved.
My name's George, I'm an addict. You know, it's really odd, actually. I have sponsees, and I chat to my sponsees and stuff, and I tell them it's going to be as hard or as easy as you choose to make it. Today I chose to make it hard on myself until 2 o'clock, when I then chose to hand it over. I woke up this morning, and the toilet seat and me were like that. And then I had that sick feeling in my stomach, and at 2 o'clock I was lying on my bed crying, saying, you know what, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I'm going to have to phone in and say I'm ill, and I thought, shit, you know what, things are as hard as you choose to make them. And then I thought, I'm just going to get ready, come over here and distract myself, and I did, and as soon as I started to get ready, I started to feel okay. I've got to talk about loving and being loved, eh? I didn't come into recovery to love myself. I came into recovery to stop using drugs. If anyone had told me that I'd have to learn to love myself, I would have came straight back out again, because it's just like, you know, what a complete and utter total waste of time that would be. How could such a useless piece of ugly shit learn to love themselves? And that's what I really believed. You know, I mean, that's what I really believed I was, because all the negative messages and images that I've taken on board over the years convinced me that actually there was nothing loving or lovely about myself. And I remember the guy that I was going out with at the time, and he was in recovery. He'd been in recovery for 7 years. And probably after one of my, you know, drunken drug binges or something, you know, he said to me, you can't love yourself very much. And I was like, oh, no. And he said, I'll tell you what, I've got an affirmation, if you want to say it. And I was like, yeah. But in my head, I was like, affirmation? Schmaffirmation, mate. But, you know, I couldn't say that. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll say it. And the affirmation was, I am a loving child of the universe, and I'm all that I need, and I love and approve of myself just as I am. And I looked at him, and I thought, what? And he said, yeah, say it. And I thought, I'm not showing myself up in front of him like that. And I said, I can't. He said, of course you can. I said, I can't. And I couldn't, because I'd made up my mind that I couldn't. And he said, you can. There's no such word as can't. And I said, there is, I can't do it. And he said, George, there's no such word as can't. And I said, there is. No matter how fast I flap my hands, I can't fly, can I? And he looked at me, right? And he said, okay, because he could see there was just no way on God's green earth I was going to say it. He said, say it when I've gone. I said, yeah. I'll say it when you've gone, thinking I've got off that one. And he said, no, promise me you'll say it when I've gone. I said, yeah, I promise. And I meant it as well. And he left. And I thought, okay. Had a deep breath. Walked to the mirror. Looked at myself. I thought, nah. And I didn't say it. And I've never said it. But somewhere along the line, somehow, my higher power knows how. I don't really understand it. I've become a loving child of the universe. And it's really weird, because I never meant to become a loving child of the universe who approves of himself and is all that I need to be. Never, ever. And, you know, I didn't study hard to become this person. It just happened. It's a byproduct of being in recovery. It's from, I suppose, working the steps and becoming open-minded, honest and willing, and taking on some suggestions, and not taking on quite a few of the others, and working my program, and keeping what I have by giving it away. Because I'm selfish. I want more. And I know the only way to get more to give more away. But I don't give it away to everyone. But I only give it away to the people that I want to give it away to. Because I can't give it away to everyone. When I first came into recovery, I tried, and it ran me bloody ragged. I can say bloody. You know, there's a few swear words that I can say, like bloody and things, but I can't say the major ones that I normally say, because I signed a disclaimer saying that I wouldn't use gratuitous swearing. And it's really hard, because I love using gratuitous swearing. Normally, I don't swear until I'm doing a share, and it all comes out, and I'm thinking, where on earth did this foul mouth coming from? I don't know, somehow today I'll just manage not to do it. So anyway, you know, loving and being loved. I have seen newcomers come into recovery, and they have that same incredulous look on their face when they hear about loving themselves. Like that. And you can see them, you know, they're like, I was, nah, I don't think so, nah. And then I say to them, that's all right, I'll love you until you can love yourself. And they look like that. Someone's actually going to love me until I can love myself. Well, that's never going to have to happen, is it? And you see them change, probably the same way that I changed. You see them change from disbelieving and believing that they're not worth anything to actually slowly coming to believe that they might be worth something. From actually not learning to love themselves, but actually having the faint possibility that they might just, at some unspecified time in the future, learn to like themselves. And then actually coming to think, well, you know what? Not too bad, I suppose. I'm not really very nice, but I'm not too bad. And then they think, well, not that bad, I suppose. And then they think, yeah, I'm all right. And then they think, I'm a bit more than all right, ain't I? Actually, I'm okay. And then they think, yeah, you know, I quite like myself. Blimey, that's a shock, isn't it? And then, you know, 6 months or months later, when they can no longer deny it to themselves, they have to admit that they've started to love themselves. And I don't know who's the most shocked, them or me. Tell the truth, I ain't shocked at all, because I've seen it work for me. But, you know, you've got to learn for themselves. And when you start to love yourself, that is when the real joys of recovery start to happen. You know, when I didn't like myself, when I absolutely didn't like myself one little bit, I used to look in the mirror and all I could see was an ugly, bad, evil person looking back at me. And I would divide my face up into mathematics. You know the math paper that you have in little squares? And I'd go through it a pixel at a time, disliking every little pixel that I saw. Don't like that bit, don't like that bit, don't like that bit, don't like that bit. Look at that big, fat, ugly nose. Look at them lips. Boy, look at them lips. Look at that face. That face has got no frigging shape to it at all. Look at that spot over there. You know what? Hating it all. And I'll just look in the mirror for a good half an hour, 45 minutes an hour at a time, hating everything about it. I still find it hard to look in the mirror, but that's because, you know, it's been about my upbringing. I grew up in Whitesville, I suppose you could say. I grew up in Cornwall and Sussex and Buckinghamshire, and I grew up in Cornwall in the 60s, and there weren't any black people in Cornwall. Well, there were. There was us. And that was it. And my mother's white. She was white. And white people in Cornwall in the 60s couldn't quite get their heads around that a white mother could actually have kids this colour. You know, and they'd come up and they'd say things like, ooh, what nice looking kids, dear. Who are you looking after them for? She'd say, they're mine. And they'd go, yeah, what, did you adopt them or something? She'd say, no, they're mine, I'm their mother. And they go, what? And she knew, right? As soon as they came up to her and said, what nice looking kids, she knew what was coming next. And that look of what on their faces was that they couldn't wait to get back home and tell their neighbours and their mates that this white woman had little blackie kids, you know. And then they'd ask, could we speak English? Because you know what, we're not meant to speak English for some reason, living in England. And she'd say, yeah, they can speak English. Speak English with a nice lady. And we go, yeah, we can speak English. This is when I was 5. And they go, cool, isn't it amazing? Sound just like us, don't they? And then they say, can I touch their hair? Never felt hair like that before. My mum would say, yep, let the nice lady touch your hair. And we go like that. They'd touch our hair and they go, isn't it soft? Oh, it's not like wild wool at all, is it? And we go, no. And then they go, thanks, dear. And they'd be off, spreading the gossip. And this went on time and time and time again. And it wasn't too bad because, you know, I was a bit too young to understand that, really. But I didn't like it, but I didn't really understand the bigger picture of it all. You know, in Cornwall, we got called Sambo and Golly, which wasn't too bad. And then when I moved to Sussex, and I was about 7, they used to say, what's the matter? You're looking a bit brand off. Nigger mind, we'll get you some wogget and you'll be all right in the morning. And of course, we were told never to answer back or anything like that, so I'd have to suffer it like a bloody idiot, you know what I mean? And the shame and the humiliation I felt about that. And then they'd tell me that I was brand because I come out of my mum's arse. And I thought, no, hang on a minute, no. Didn't know the facts of life, but I was pretty damn sure I never come out of my mum's backside. But there you go. And then when we moved to Buckinghamshire, you know, it got a little bit worse. And then when I moved to London, you got the real racism that I can't go into now because they'll bleep it all out on the CD. But I'll let you imagine what was said to me in London, right? So I grew up not liking myself very much. Really not liking myself at all. I mean, it's no surprise I thought of myself as a useless, ugly piece of shit. Because that's what everyone told me that I was. So I come into recovery and I meant to learn to love myself. But I did. Surprisingly. And before I learned to love myself, I used to want to be liked by people because I couldn't like myself. And I'll do anything so people would like me. You know, if they wanted something down the shops, I'll be down the shops. If they wanted a happy, laughing little bunny, I'll be the happy, laughing little bunny. If they wanted to sleep with me, they could sleep with me. I didn't care. I had no boundaries at all. You know, no, I didn't, really. I mean, it's quite sad, actually, looking back at how I didn't have any self-worth. You know, I was almost like brought up not to have self-worth. And so there was nothing worth holding on to because I wasn't worth anything. And, you know, I so wanted people to like me because I couldn't like myself, and I got affirmation from other people liking me. And I moved heaven and earth to try and make sure that people liked me. And didn't make me happy because it was sort of like codependency shit, and I didn't really want to do half of the things that I did, but I did them so people would like me. And doing them made me hate myself even more, but that's all right because I hated myself in the first place anyway, so I just hated myself even more. And more. And using drugs, I suppose, helped me forget how much I hated myself first of all, until it made me hate me more. So to cut a long story short, when I was 33, it came down to either killing myself or stopping using drugs. And I was going out with someone who had been in recovery for 7 years, and for some reason they put up with me and put up with all my nonsense and my crap and stuff like that. And through attraction rather than promotion, he showed me that it's possible to have a happy, healthy life without using any mood-altering substances. And it took me a couple of years of going out with him to realise that he was actually not taking any mood-altering substances into his body at all. I mean, I believe that he might not be drinking, but he had a sinus problem, and he was always sniffing like that. And I thought, aye. He might not be drinking, but he's on the bleeding coke, you know, because it's not possible, it's absolutely not possible to use or to live and be happy without using. And it took me 2 years to convince myself he wasn't taking cocaine and that it was actually a sinus problem. And I thought to myself, you know what? After 2 years, I thought, yeah, I want a bit of that. I'm fed up. I'm fed up of hating myself, of beating myself up, of despising myself, of going to work and going, ta-da! And coming home and crying, of smiling and laughing to the world and hating myself inside. And so I found this telephone number that he gave me about 6 months ago. I put it in the drawer because it's like, you know, the ostrich syndrome, out of sight, out of mind. He said, here, you might need this number. I said, what's that then? He said, it's NA. I said, what's that then? He said, oh, it's Narcotics Anonymous for, you know, people who've got a problem with drugs and things. I thought, in the drawer it went, shut the drawer. And then I thought, hey, where's that bloody number? I opened the drawer and there it was. You know, so I called them up and this guy said, oh, yeah, that's no problem, you know, go to a meeting because you can't do it on your own. And I thought, Cha. And he said, there's a newcomers meeting just down the road from you. And I thought, well, that's handy, innit? And he said, why don't you go? And I said, yeah, I will. He said, no, really, go. I said, yeah, I will. He said, I'll see you there. I thought, oh, bleed, no. So I put the phone down, and I had about that much of a spliff left, right, because I never had no drugs on me. And I had that much of a spliff left, and I smoked it. And I got on my knees and prayed, dear Lord, help me go to the meeting. Please help me go to the meeting. Don't let me cycle there and cycle all the way back. Help me actually go in there. Please help me go in there. Help me go in there. Please, Lord. You know, because I only prayed when the shit hit the fan. When it was going smoothly, I didn't bother praying at all. Why bother praying to a God that hates you? So anyway, I got on my bike, cycled to the meeting, and that was it. Haven't used since. 7.5 years ago. Amazing. Nice, isn't it? I do like getting rounds of applause and stuff like that. But, you know, 7.5 years. And you know what? When I first came into recovery and I thought, I'd look at people like, and there'd be 60 days, 90 days, 5 years, and I'd be thinking, Jesus Christ, how do they do that? And I asked someone once, how do you do it? And he looked at me and he said, one day at a time. And I rolled my eyes, you know, I thought, one day at a time. I wanted to know how you did it. And he's telling me that. And now you know what I say sometimes, one day at a time. And you can see people almost mentally rolling their eyes and all. But that's all you can do. All you can do is do it one day at a time. You know, it took me about 3 years to learn how to do it one day at a time. When I first came into recovery and I heard the Serenity Prayer, I thought, that's a bit mean, innit? A few little lines like that doesn't say jack. And I spent 45 minutes working out what the Serenity Prayer should really say. It should say this, and it should say that, and it should say a bit of this. Oh yeah, and it should say some of that. Then it should say this, and it should say that, and a bit more of this, and chuck a bit of that in just in case you might need it. And after 45 minutes, it suddenly dawned on me. Them few little words say it all, really, didn't they? And I was, for the first time, actually, really, I suppose I was a bit humbled that I didn't know it all. Shocking that I didn't know it all. Because I like to think that I did. You know, it's like no one could tell me nothing. Nah! Can't tell me, because I know it all. And then I started realising that I didn't know it all. Bloody frightening that was. But, you know, I stuck with it. I didn't really have a chance. I stuck with it. It wasn't very easy. It was very hard and very difficult at times. And, you know, I had to learn some painful lessons, and I had to realise that actually I wasn't that special and different. Although I am. It's only in recovery that I'm not special and different. You know, I am special and different as a person. We all are. We're unique, beautiful, wonderful human beings. and we should value ourselves as such. You know, I don't understand all this, oh, you shouldn't be special and different. Why not? I love myself enough to treat myself specially and differently. It's in addiction that I'm the same as everyone else. That is where I cannot think of myself as special and different. I cannot afford to say, oh, I'm special and different in that area. It doesn't apply to me. That is what's going to possibly take me back out there. That is what's going to stop me working on my recovery. That is what's going to set the seeds of discontent into my mind and let me think that these things don't apply. They do apply. They apply to me and they apply to everyone in this room. They apply to everyone in recovery. That's why we need to do the things that we need to do to stay clean. In that area of addiction, I'm not special and different. I'm just the same as everyone else. But in my life, as a person, I can be special and different. It doesn't make me any better. It doesn't make me any worse than anyone else. We are all special and different, and we owe it to ourselves to treat ourselves like we are. You know, it's people are so quick to hate themselves and to say how stupid they are and what an idiot they are. But you very rarely get someone telling themselves how wonderful they are because they're too frightened. They worry, oh, what will people think of me if I say that? Don't give two shits about what people think about them when they cuss themselves off in public, though. Because, I mean, you know, that's apparently okay. You can say to yourself, oh my God, I'm so stupid. And that's okay. But you can't say to yourself, you know what, I'm a wonderful person, because people will look at you like, ah? Well, I can say it. I can say it up on this stage in front of this room, I am a wonderful person. We'll see if we can get a bit more of that applause later, eh? Because I am a wonderful person. I've worked bleeding hard to become a wonderful person. You know what? I've worked so frigging hard. I can say frigging, that's all right. I've worked so hard. Really, I didn't even realise I'd have to work so hard in recovery. I just thought it'd be like the films. No, I did. I thought recovery would actually be me admitting that I was an addict. And then I was expecting the music to come in and the fade and the sunset, and that was it. Like it is in the films. When you're sweating and shaking and you stand up there and you go, oh, I'm so-and-so, and I'm an addict, and everyone claps and that's it. You never really see the work they do. Apart from a few films that might be coming out, you know, recently and stuff like that. So I had no idea of the work that I had to do to become a wonderful person. Just as well, really. That's true. Just as well, really, because I wouldn't have done it. I'd have thought, nah, that's too hard. I've gone back out there again. By the time I had some idea of the work that I had to do to become a wonderful person, it was too late. I already wanted to become a wonderful person. I already started seeing the changes that happened when I became a wonderful person. And like I said, I wanted more of it. And I wanted more of it. And the only way to get more of it was to do the work. So I had to do it, whether I wanted to or not. Part of the work I had to do is get a sponsor. Killed me getting a sponsor, you know. I had to wait over a year to get a sponsor. I almost asked a couple of people, but I thought, nah. Because you know what? What I learned was anyone can sound well. Any idiot can sound well. It's true. I see a few people laughing, they understand what I mean. Doesn't take much to sound well, you know. I could be sitting up here sounding marvellous. Polishing up my halo. Dripping out little pearls of wisdom about what I've learned in recovery. Talking in my lovely, wonderful, calm, serene voice. Wouldn't be helping anyone. any newcomers in here would be thinking, blimey, look at him, he's well, isn't he? I'm not well. Not well at all. I'm so not well. It's true. 7.5 years clean and a wonderful person, I'm still not well. Told a woman about herself last Saturday. Loved it. I was on Oxford Street, crossing the road. She was on her phone, elbow up like that. I went to cross the road, she moved her elbow up. I banged into her, she banged into me. Who knows, who cares? We banged into each other. She looked at me and she said, "And?" And I'd been feeling fine up till that moment, you know, absolutely fine. I said, "And what?" She said, "Most people say excuse me when they bump into someone." I said, "Oh, do they?" I said, "You've got a bad attitude, haven't you?" And then I heard this voice say, "And you're ugly." And she said, "I can't believe it. I can't believe that you said something like that." I said, "Believe it, you are ugly." And she said, "Oh, that's so immature, isn't it? A big man like you saying something childish like that." I said, "Yes, it is immature and childish, but I'd rather be immature and childish than ugly." And she was going, "Nyah, nyah, 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 nyah." And I thought, I can't be bothered anymore. So I started walking away. And I walked about 3 steps, right, and I turned around and I went, "Ugly." Then I walked another 3 steps and I went, "Ugly, ugh." And then my boyfriend said to me, George, what's the matter?" I said, "Oh, just some woman having a go at me. I told her she was ugly." He said, "You can't do that." I said, "I just did." He said, "Yeah, but you might have given her a complex or something. You know, you might have scarred her for life." I said, "Yeah, good, innit?" And you know what? As soon as I said to her that first time she was ugly, I felt this feeling come over me like this. I felt so calm and so relaxed, and I thought, that's it, the mouth can take over now. And then I went shopping. Didn't buy nothing. And every couple of hours, every half an hour, I think, "Ugly, yeah." And my partner said to me, "You're going to have to do a step 10 about that." And I said, "Yeah, I know." "Not yet, though." And I was sitting on the bus going home and I said to him, "You know what, I shouldn't have called her ugly, should I?" He said, "No." And I thought, it was a bit late now, really, isn't it? What can I do about it? And I thought, the only thing that I can do about it is when someone has a go at me, I'll just have to accept it and thank them for it and understand what it felt like when I had a go at her and called her ugly. That's the only thing I can do to make an amends. So I'm still not well. You know, if I was well, I would have kept my big fat trap shut and gone, sorry. And then went shopping, but I couldn't resist it. Couldn't resist it at all. I'm not well, but I'm better than I was. Sometimes. And this is what I've learned. You know, I have learned by learning to love and accept myself that actually I don't have to beat myself up. You know what? I'm not perfect. I never will be perfect. I'm me. I'm human. I make mistakes. I can lie. I can not be nice to people. I said to my partner, he said to me, "George, you're so lovely." I said, "Am I?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What, all the time?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Really?" He said, "No, sometimes you can be nasty." And I thought, yeah, that's more like it. Sometimes I can be nasty. And I've been nasty to him as well, sometimes, when I've been in pain and hurt and I've felt attacked and stuff like that. I've been nasty to him because I have that side in me. I try not to let that side out. but sometimes it just slips out on a way, you know, and then I don't feel good about myself. That's why I try not to let that side out. But I mean, shit, you know, we've all got that side in us, haven't we? You know, this is why I don't think it's fair to be sitting up here, dripping out pearls of wisdom with my fingers like that, making out that I've got it sorted. I mean, what kind of message would I be giving out? A lie. You know, as humans, we have the side that can be good, and we have the side that's not so good. And what I've learned to do is love and accept both of them. You know, I learned the meaning of how to love. I learned actually what I learned was how to love myself, warts and all. I had a wart on my wrist, and I said to my partner at the time, because I mean he's quite clever at these things. He did a lot of work on himself and stuff like that. And I said to him, how do I get rid of this wart then? He said, you've got to love it away. I thought, really? What a waste of time that is. I had some warts before and I burnt them off with caustic soda. Still got the scars, but they went really quickly. And I'd look at these warts, this wart, right, and I'd look at it and I think, and for about a week I thought, what a chump. Love it away. What an idiot. Love it away. How can you learn to love a wart? Nah. And then I thought to myself, actually, you know what? He's quite wise, really. And he's been quite right about a few things before in the past that killed me to admit it. So I thought, well, perhaps I better try and see if I can have a go at loving away a wart. And I looked at this wart and I thought, nah, don't think so. And a week later I looked at the wart and I thought, nah, don't think so. And about a month later I looked at the wart and I forced myself to say, you know what, it's only a wart. Killed me, that did. It's only a wart. Don't really need to hate it that much. It's only a wart. Still hate it though, but I'll have to try not to. Yeah, okay, wart's only a wart, innit? A month later I was like that. Yeah. Wart. I'll carry on and do something. A month later I was like this. It's only a wart, innit? Really? Little wart on my wrist. What's the big problem? A month later I was like, oh. Little wart, isn't it? There's nothing the matter with that. Tiny little wart like that. A month later, I was like, what an idiot I was. Look at me, hating that wart. Oh, be like that. Stroke, I can believe it. Stroking a wart. Oh, it's all right, isn't it? Oh. A month later, I suppose I was loving it. I was talking to the wart and everything. Kiss my neck, it started going. And I was like, no, don't go. I like you now. No, you don't have to go. No, don't go. I'm quite attached to you. Don't go, please. And it went. I was like, rotted. I love the wart away. And that's what I learned about loving yourself, warts and all. You have to learn to like the bits and love the bits that you don't love and like about yourself. You have to learn to accept yourself, the good bits, the bad bits. I'm learning to accept my belly. Boy, I think that might be a bit harder than loving a wart, but I'm doing my best. I stand there and I look at it. Sometimes I play with it. Like that. And I take my hands away and it's still moving. And I never had a belly when I was using. Nah, I didn't have a belly at all. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, now what would I rather have? Would I rather have the body that I had when I was using and feeling the way I did then, or feeling the way I feel now in my belly? It's a tough one, you know. But really, in all honesty, I'd rather feel the way I feel now and have my little belly. You know, I could do sit-ups and stuff like that, but I can't be arsed. I can't. I've got the thing under the door that you hook your legs in so you can do the sit-ups, and I just look at it and I think to myself, you know what? I'll start doing that tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Every morning I say I'll get up at 6:30. Nah, 7:30 I'm still lying in bed thinking, right, I've just got enough time to get up, have my breakfast, have a shower and get to work. All this exercise that I'm meant to be doing now. And I've got this fitted shirt on today, you know, it's made for me. Jesus, enough a bit tight. And I was sitting on the train, I was holding in my stomach for all it's worth, you know. Because if I didn't, the shirt wouldn't look right, and I do like it to look right. And I'm thinking, I'll just get a bigger shirt. Because you know what? I can get really obsessive about exercise. I can get obsessive about anything. I'm an addict. And I see these people in the gym pumping themselves away, clanking them weights, straining like they're on the carsey. And I think, nah. I go to the gym 3 times a week. Don't do an ounce of work. It's part of my job. I work with a 19-year-old man who's got special needs, and he goes to the gym. My job's, come on, Richard, a bit more, Richard, come on, Richard, don't give up. I'm good at that. See him straining and sweating, and I'm working him up into a lot. I can do that for him, can't do it for myself, I can't be bothered. No, I really can't. I actually find it a bit distasteful, really. No, it's true. I look at these people in the gym and I think to myself, you know what? I'd rather learn to love it, mate. Don't mind doing a bit of mental work, but I'm not putting in that physical effort that it takes to whittle it down to nothing, you know. So I'm learning to love that at the moment. And when I've learned to love that, there'll be something else. God knows what it is, but there's always something else. That's what I've learned in recovery. There's always something else that we can move on to. And you know what? Now that I love myself, I don't need anyone else to love me. The fact that they do is a bonus. But really, I couldn't give a shit. And it's really odd. When I stopped caring so much about what other people thought about me and how I came across and all the things that I thought I needed to do to make myself liked, people started liking me even more. And I thought, rah! Should have realised that years ago. Should have realised that years ago. All I had to do was not give 2 shits. Because I don't. I care about myself. I love and approve of myself. I don't need other people to love and approve of me. I like myself. I don't need other people to like me. I don't like everyone else. Why should everyone like me? Can't stand some people. I can't. I don't even bother trying anymore. When I first come round, I tried liking everyone. Nah. I respect people. Try and respect, well, didn't respect that lady, did I? But, you know, generally I try and respect everyone. I don't try and love everyone. Don't try and like everyone. All I have to do is like and love myself. But the weird thing is, you know, I'm actually quite well liked and loved. Don't understand it. I'm just your ordinary average Joe. I mean, I'm nothing special. But, you know, some people, well, people seem to like me. It's wonderful. Marvellous. It's fantastic. I suppose it's joys of recovery, isn't it? People like me. I like myself and people like me as well. Fantastic. And I didn't need to make myself ill today. Because actually, as soon as I started coming here, I felt okay. Sitting up here, I felt marvellous. I just thought it's a piece of piss, really, innit? Just come up here, be yourself, let it all out. Who cares? First convention I went to, I was going home and I heard these two people slagging off the person that they had talking on the stage, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, yeah, that's not very recovery, is it? But it's humanity. So you know what? If you want to go home slagging me off, feel free. I won't know anything about it. Not unless you come and do it to my face. And if you do, I'll try and accept it. Loving yourself, learning who you are, having the courage to be that person, for me, is the key to recovery. Living my life the way I believe my life should be lived. Doing the things I believe are right to do. Being true to myself is one of the hardest things that I've had to learn to do. So much easier being a sheep. So much easier being a sheep. Going, yeah, I think that as well, when I don't think it at all. Going, yeah, I don't like that at all, when I do like it. Because I still want to please people, but I've learned, you know what? I need to please myself. I have to please myself. If I don't please myself, I can't please other people. If I don't love myself, I can't fully and truly and freely love other people. You know, I have some very, very dear friends in recovery. And I didn't mean to come into recovery to get friends. That wasn't on my agenda. But I have found people that are very, very dear to me, and I love them very, very much indeed. And you know what? I love them enough to let them do what they want to do, to let them be themselves. Doesn't matter whether I agree with them. Doesn't matter whether I disagree with them. I love them enough most of the time to keep my counsel to myself. You know, it's this thing about, I don't understand really why people love coming up and telling you about yourself in recovery. I've had it done to me. What you need to do is, and I think to myself, what you need to do is butt out of my own business. You know, it says we took personal inventory. Not my inventory. I think to myself, these people ought to go home and take their own inventory. And when they've truly taken their own inventory and worked out why they feel the need to come up and take my inventory, then if they really still want to come up and take my inventory, then they're welcome to. But you know that they won't. Because it's always something about them and rarely something about me. But there you go. You know, recovery is a wonderful thing. It's given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. But more importantly than a life beyond my wildest dreams, it's given me me. And I can't believe it. 7.5 years clean, sick as a monkey, and I'm sitting up here doing a share. There you go. For some reason, they thought that I'd be good enough to do a share, and I hope I have been. I hope that if you're new around, you might have got something positive from what I've said. I can't even remember anything that I've said now, you know. I'm going to have to listen to the CD and cringe. But, you know, look, if you're new around, just keep coming back. If you're new around, just keep coming back. Take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. You've got the rest of your life to do it. I did it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I didn't come into recovery to get all the things that I've got now. I just came into recovery to stay clean one day at a time. And I have done. And so can everyone in this room, if they want to. You know, I want to end on the thing that we say at the end of every meeting. The serenity prayer and the keep coming back. Now, we chat out this serenity prayer, you know. Work it. that's how we do it. Do we really stop to think about what we say? Not most of the time. No, we don't. Because by that time, we've had enough of the meeting. We've taken 3 people's inventory. We're gagging for a coffee. And we want to gossip about what that idiot said. So what I'm going to ask is, when we do the Serenity Prayer today, that we actually stop and think about the power of the words we're going to use. The power of the Serenity Prayer is amazing. All the wisdom is there that we need. And when it says, keep coming back, it works if you work it. So work it, you're worth it. If you think you're worth it, then work it. You know, you will get back what you put in. You know, I am worth it. I think everyone in this room is worth it. So let's, at the end, let's think about what we say and work it. Thank you.